Hello the class. We have explored Linux to get some idea about the operating system that has been installed in our virtual machines, or we can say remote servers that we have configured with our cluster, right? So I think that at least we have some tool, some way to explore the physical remote server. And now we can use such knowledge and skills to explore the Apache Hadoop framework and Spark that reside in our cluster that we have created. Okay, and before we do it, let's review a bit our lecture about Apache Hadoop framework. Okay. Okay, we know that the Apache Hadoop framework is an open source application or software package that consists of many subsystems or many components. We will see a part of the list very soon. Okay, and the system can use to be process large amount of data, yes, distributedly across clusters of computers. Okay, and when we do it, we can use the simplified programming model, and we also can take advantage of reliable shared storage. Yes, and we can see it very soon. Okay, this figure can give us an overview of the Apache Hadoop ecosystem. And we see in this picture the Apache Hadoop framework is an ecosystem because it consists of various subsystems or components. Here we can see, you see the HDFS, it means a kind of storage, and then Yarn, it means a subsystem to manage the resource. Then we have MapReduce and others, I mean Hive, Spark, many other things. One thing about Spark, it actually originally the Spark not included in the Apache Hadoop framework. It is a total separated system. However, it works closely with Hadoop. Therefore, when we talk about the Hadoop ecosystem, normally we also include Spark with it. And with this picture, we also see that there are several versions of Hadoop. Okay, the first one is Hadoop 1.0, and it gets to Hadoop 2.0. Actually, right now we have Hadoop 3.0 that just came out, at the end of last year. Okay, but it's brand new, so we don't have to get into that. And 2.0 is very good now. It's still very good now. And with this picture, we can also see what is the difference between Hadoop 2.0 and Hadoop 1.0. In the first version of Hadoop, we can see that the subsystem MapReduce, yes, run directly on the HDFS. It means run directly on the distributed storage system. However, in Hadoop 2.0, a new subsystem named Yarn is introduced into the picture, and it runs directly on the distributed storage system HDFS, and on other system run on top of that. Yes, and we can see it right here. Okay. It means that for the Hadoop 2.0, the reason Yarn is introduced into it because it solves a big issue for Hadoop. Okay. With Yarn, MapReduce as on all the subsystems of the Hadoop ecosystem, including Spark, now can run with the Hadoop HDFS or the Hadoop ecosystem in general very much more efficiently. So we already knew that the Hadoop ecosystem consists of many subsystems or components. Right away we can see it here, HDFS, then Yarn, and over it we had the MapReduce and others. And for others, it means many other subsystems. We can see in the next slide that I would like to share with all of you. Okay, this is a very short list of the major components of the Apache Hadoop ecosystem. We can consider them as some of core components of the framework. The first one we already knew, it is Hadoop Distributed File System or HDFS. And the second one is Yarn. It is a resource management subsystem. Okay, we already discussed that and mentioned that Yarn is introduced into the picture of Apache Hadoop ecosystem in Hadoop 2.0. It did not exist in the initial or the first version of Hadoop framework. The next one is MapReduce, another core component of the Apache Hadoop ecosystem. This subsystem has been introduced with the Hadoop framework from the start. Hive is a subsystem that helps us to process or to work with the data stored in Hadoop ecosystem in the same manner that we can use or work the structured data stored or saved in relational database using the script that's very similar to SQL. Okay, SQL. Pig is a programming language that is specialized to process large data sets that is stored in the Apache Hadoop ecosystem. If we use this programming language to analyze the data, it will be very efficient. Okay. HBase is a kind of database can run on the top of Yarn, and it also a component or subsystem of the Hadoop framework. Spark, as we mentioned, Spark is a separated system by itself. It's not included in the Hadoop framework. However, whenever we mention or we talk about the Hadoop ecosystem, we always include Spark. The reason is Spark works very closely with the Hadoop ecosystem, especially with the HDFS. Therefore, whenever we discuss or we learn about Hadoop ecosystem, we always, not always, but we often include Spark in the picture. For this class, we only focus on the HDFS, the distributed systems, storage system, the MapReduce, Hive, and Spark. Definitely, we don't mention Yarn as our focus, but it's still there. Okay, because when we talk about Hadoop, we always think that Yarn should be there so that it can run on top of HDFS, so that all the subcomponents like a MapReduce or Hive, so that the system, the MapReduce or Hive can run on the top of Yarn and work with the HDFS of the Apache Hadoop framework. Now, we talk about Spark. Spark is a separate system. It's not included in the Hadoop framework. However, because Spark can work closely with Hadoop ecosystem, therefore, whenever we mention Hadoop ecosystem, we often include Spark in the picture. Okay, and we say again, for this class, we will focus on HDFS, MapReduce, Hive, and Spark. Now let's have some idea about HDFS. That stands for Hadoop Distributed File System. HDFS is the distributed storage component for the Apache Hadoop framework. We can say that HDFS is the most important core component of the ecosystem. Maybe one of the best features or capability of HDFS is this. It can be used not only used for other systems or subsystems of the Apache Hadoop ecosystem, but it can be used by other systems like Spark. Spark is not included in the Hadoop. However, Spark can work directly with the HDFS. Okay. HDFS had three main components: the name node, the data node, and the secondary name node. And the architecture of this distributed storage system is based on the master-slave scheme. It means some of its component run as the master and other run as the slave. Okay, and the name here in the detail, the name node acts as the master node, and the data node acts as the slaves. Okay, and here we have a picture that describes the architecture of the HDFS, the distributed storage system. Here we have the name node, okay, and that is the master, and many data nodes. Okay. And actually, each data node is associated with one physical storage. Let's think about a data node for a server, a separate server, or a separate computer. Let's think about it. Okay, and all of these data nodes, they run or they operate as the slaves of the master name node. Okay, and we see it. We have the secondary name node here. Yes, these are the three types of component: name node, data node, and secondary name node are the main components of the HDFS. Now let's get back to this picture, and here we see the foundation of the Hadoop ecosystem is the distributed storage system HDFS, and the subsystem run directly on top of that is Yarn. It is a resource management subsystem. And now let's have some idea about it. Let's talk about Yarn. Okay. In the next video,